This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to the top 5 most comfortable shoes of 2021. And these are, I guess, more comfortable running shoes, or if you're on your feet all day, if you just walk a lot, whatever you do all around the world, men and women, if you're looking for the most comfortable shoes, this is going to be a video you want to watch. Now, this is part 1 of 2, so pay attention. I'll tell you what the second video is on, but I think this is going to apply to more people. So let's jump right in. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time watching the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the little bell notification below, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to tell you about part 2 right now before we get into this. Part 2 is going to be all the shoes that maybe you think are missing but have some sort of plate, whether it's a carbon fiber plate, carbon infused, nylon. So all the shoes we're talking about today do not have any sort of plate in them. They are just the most comfortable shoes you can get. Now, these are going to be for any aspect of life that you are looking for a more comfortable shoe, whether it's for long runs, long walks, or you're just on your feet all day in a warehouse, a postal worker, or any walk of life. Now, I have a top 5, but we are going to go over 8 shoes. I had a commenter in the last video say, hey, your list is confusing. No, wait, there is a top 5, but I do want to give respect to some shoes that maybe didn't make the list and give you some information if you were considering them, or you like the brand, or this is just something you wanted to know about. So we're going to start off with the shoe that, and there's 2 I went over last year at the 2020 most comfortable shoes, and one of them is going to be this guy, the Phantom by Topo Athletics. This is their most comfortable shoe. Topo Athletics is known for having wide toe boxes, so you can kind of see that. So it's a little bit more natural foot splay. This is something that a lot of orthopedists, or if you've had issues with your feet, you do want a shoe that's going to allow your foot to be a little more natural. Both this shoe and we have another shoe do talk about that. I mentioned this shoe last year that I was not able to test it. I wanted to bring it up today. I believe this is the 5. The 6 did come out, or the next version, forgive me, but it's using what they're calling zip foam. This foam, and this is proprietary to them, is their most comfortable version in their lineup. They use it in some of their other shoes in various forms, whether it's just down the middle or just in certain parts. This entire midsole is all zip foam. This is the most cushion they're going to offer. It's just below okay. If you really want a wide toe box and a natural kind of footbed, this only has a 4mm drop. I have a much better option for you. I don't want to be too negative, but I will tell you that the amount you're spending on this and the amount of cushion you're getting is beyond underwhelming. Every single shoe we're talking about is going to have more cushion than this. There's plenty of just daily runners that are going to have more cushion than this. I can't recommend this shoe. Maybe the new one is substantially better, but they're using the same foam and a little bit of it, and this foam in general is just lackluster. So that was number 8, but actually it's not even on the list. Just wanted to talk about it because we mentioned it in last year's video in 2020. The next shoe on the list, number 7, that we're speaking about is a shoe that I actually gave away. I'm looking for version 2 right now if you have a connection or a place for me to get a good deal, and that's the Asics NovaBlast. Now, it is using their Flight Foam Blast. That shoe is incredibly comfortable, super soft and cushy. The first one was a little bit unstable. I'm giving that to a friend. The second one, they've looked to improve some of that stability issues. And the reason it's not on this list is not because it is not incredibly comfortable. It is because one thing I want to talk about on all of these shoes in the list, and this is part of where the ranking is ground feel. Now, ground feel is exactly what it sounds like. It means when you step on the ground, you feel that hard surface. So when you push off, you have that firm, solid, I guess, push off or accelerant. If you're walking a lot, if you're just on your feet all day, I don't want to feel ground feel. Maybe you don't want to feel ground feel. Some shoes that we have here and we'll talk about today do have a lot of cushion, but they still allow some ground feel. The NovaBlast is one of those shoes that on push off when you're walking, it does kind of squish all the way flat practically, so you do feel the ground. Now I am 240 pounds. If you look at me, I'm a bigger guy, so it depends. If you are a lighter person, you may not run into that, and the NovaBlast is incredible. It is super cushioned. I actually used it a lot for my recovery days, to give you an idea, so really do like that shoe. The only difference is we have a lot more shoes with more cushion in them, but if you are an Asics guy, I wanted to show you this guy. This is their Meta Speed Sky. This does use the same foam, but more of it. Also has a carbon fiber plate. Easily my favorite carbon fiber runner to date. This is going to be in next video, part 2, as far as carbon fiber plated max cushion shoes available, but we'll save that for the next video. All right, number 6, and this is actually number 6. I know I call this the top 5 video, and the reason it's number 6 and it's not in my top 5 is just because it's just outside the top 5, and that's the Ultra Paradigm. This is the Ultra Paradigm 5. The 6 came out, looks to be a little bit lighter, have a little bit more cushion. This is using what they call Ego foam. Ego. All right, so pushes you forward. This is just an awesome shoe for 2 reasons. One, that cushion is just a little bit bouncy. It's plush. You do not feel the ground in a good way. And this is something that I would take over a lot of other shoes. There's a reason you're not seeing a couple Hokas on here today. That's because this and all the others have kind of passed what Hoka has done, except for the new Bondi X, and we'll have that again in part 2. Also, this is the only shoe on this video, and this is something you may want to consider, that one is using a wide outsole that is meant to again mimic the way your foot is shaped, very natural. It also has a 0 drop. Your heel and your forefoot are at the same level. There's no heel drop or heel lift, so it's going to feel very weird. It's going to actually stretch your Achilles some if you're just starting to wear these. I wouldn't get this and wear it all the time, but this is something, as you get used to it, it lengthens that Achilles and will actually help you in any other aspect of your life, as far as taking pressure off other joints in your body, improving your performance if you're an athlete. So this is kind of your max cushion barefoot running shoe, which is really weird just to think about, but this is an awesome shoe. Ultra doing some amazing things. I love their Torn line. That's their max daily runner, so it's not max cushion necessarily, it's their max cushion daily trainer, whereas this is their max cushion and max support, but it does have more cushion, and it is an incredible shoe overall. So that leads us to our top 5. Now, I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of each one of these shoes as far as weight and fit, and maybe I'll talk about transition a little bit. If you guys want more detailed comparison or would like me to do a review on each one of these shoes specifically, let me know in the comments below, and I'm happy to take care of you guys and give that further information. But with all that said, I'll put a link in the beginning of this video to get to this point. Let's jump into our top 5. Number 5, and I know a lot of lists from many other YouTubers is going to have this shoe a lot higher, is going to be the Nike Invincible. And this is using a full giant slab of their ZoomX cushion, which is, up until this point, this is a $180 shoe. Hold on here. This cushion was only available in their Vaporfly and Alphafly shoes. So this cushion is a super cushion, as it were. It is bouncy, it is plush. This really does make the NovaBlast obsolete. I think this is a much better shoe for just pure max cushion. There's other reasons why many runners still like the NovaBlast 2 over this. This is a chunky, big shoe, super wide. I know it has that Flyknit upper. I know not a lot of runners like everything about this shoe, but if you're just looking for a max cushion shoe that is super bouncy, very plush, you do not feel the ground on this in the heel, but that's why this is number 5. Even though this is really soft, even though this is super bouncy, it squishes. Like you can bottom this out essentially. So when you're running, that foam goes down to, I don't want to say nothing, but as you push off, and this does have a nice kind of rocker to it, it essentially allows you to have that ground feel. Now, I think with shoes that are max cushion that have ground feel, and there's quite a few, this does it best. I don't mind it. I love taking these on a run. If you're on long walks, that forefoot, that toe area, fact that you feel the ground is why this is number 5. That is not a negative. A lot of runners, a lot of people still like that, and I think they balance it well here with what Nike did. This is also a shoe because it is so squishy and soft. You can see that heel clip, and you see how wide it is. It stretches beyond your foot. Your foot isn't here, the shoe is out here, and that's because it is so unstable. So if you're just standing around, this is one of those shoes where your foot is kind of moving like this the whole time, which is good and bad. Maybe you want something a little bit more stable. So this is not a shoe for everybody, but it is a ridiculously comfortable shoe. And if you're looking for the best Nike has to offer as far as their max cushion, this is it. Number 4, and the only shoe we have here from Hoka, it is not the Hoka Clifton, which was on this shoe last year. It is not the Hoka Bondi. It's the Hoka Mach 4. Yeah, this is the only shoe that is actually more of a daily trainer. This is, I think, the lightest shoe here. Super flexible, nice bounce to it. And the reason I would recommend this over everything else from the Hoka lineup is, one, you have a very natural stride to it. It's not such a thick layer of cushion that you need that rocker, which is going to be great if you're standing around or just doing walks. Also, this has a nice bounce to it. It's not just this soft kind of memory foam feel, but has a little pick-me-up. It's helping you along, which is incredible. But you see these 2 layers of foam. This gray layer is that bouncy layer, and this is their more traditional EVA, so there's no outsole, and this is something that will still last you a long time, even though it's going to look beaten up after a little bit. But that soft outsole with no rubber means this pretty much eliminates ground feel. There's no hard impact. It's incredible what Hoka has done. I would recommend this over the Bondi and the Clifton. You're getting something soft, well cushioned, that moves naturally with your foot, that is lightweight. This is just an incredible daily training shoe that you can also do fast days in, that has a little bit of bounce and pick me up to it. It does, and I know I'm not talking about fitment here, run tight. This is a shoe, I believe, yeah, I had to do a 12.5. I know some of the Hokas I'm able to do a 12 wide. They don't do a 12 wide. This and the 12.5 fit perfectly. I probably can even do a 13. I mean, it runs narrow. So if you have a wide foot at all, this is not come in widths. Do a half size up. Go with this with the Hoka lineup. Save some more money versus their more expensive models, and enjoy it. All right, number 3, and this tells you how good some of the shoes are on this list, because this was number 1 last year, and that's the new Triumph. They have the 19 that came out, same shoe, different upper. I don't even think it's lighter. This is the 18. I think the 17 I had rated last year. Honestly, the 17, 18, or 19 with the Saucony Triumph is an amazing shoe. This is using their Power Run Plus cushion outsole or midsole, and I know this black line kind of makes it look like there's a little bit less foam than what there is. It's actually all foam right there, so that just makes it look a little bit less chunky. This shoe has taken over the Adidas Boost kind of feel. So if you used to be an Adidas Boost person where you love the Ultra Boost shoes, this is what you want to upgrade to. It is not the lightest. It is not the smoothest as far as that transition heel to toe. And I shouldn't say smoothest as far as there's no rocker sensation. So this is just a flat shoe that has some nice flexibility, but it could be a little bit more flexible. But it is such an amazing cushion ride. You do not feel the road at all. If you're going to Disney World for 10 miles of walking and you haven't done 10 miles in the last 10 years, this is the shoe you want to have with you. It gives you enough bounce that you feel like you can keep going. Even though it's not the lightest, it's not the most flexible, the amount of cushion on this really does save it. The only reason we have better shoes than this one is because our top 2 shoes, again, are a little bit lighter, and more flexible, but I don't want to say they're necessarily more comfortable, but that's what you're kind of trading off here, especially when you start looking at some of the prices. I believe this goes for $140. Our next couple shoes are more expensive, so this is probably the best value outside of that Mach 4. All right, number 1 and 2, I struggled a lot just because the number 1 shoe feels like when Motor Trend just lists the most expensive vehicle as their number 1 vehicle. So the SUV of the year is, yeah, Porsche Cayenne Turbo. That's $180,000. Yeah, of course that's your number 1 SUV. Or the best car of the year is, you know, whatever is a Tesla Plaid. That's, you know, $150,000. It's not that hard to call one of the most expensive shoes that legitimately is amazing the best shoe. But I'm going to be pulling a Motor Trend. So wait for number 1 just a second here. Number 2 is going to be the Fresh Foam More version 3 from New Balance. I love this triple black colorway. Heads up to you, everything in New Balance in 2021 is running very narrow. I have their Rebel 2, I have their RC Elite 2, obviously have these guys. I was able to do a 12 wide in pretty much all of their shoes historically. I've had to do a 12.5 or just a straight 13 in pretty much all of them, even if I got widths. Don't know why they changed their last, but if you're getting a New Balance shoe and you have a wide foot, one, get their wides, but you probably still want to go up half a size. And if you can't get the width in some of their shoes, just go that full size up to the 13 in this versus a 12.5 in a couple of the other ones. And just for sake, I did a 12.5 in the Invincible. I did a 12 wide in the Triumph. I did a 12.5 in the Mach 4, and in this I did a 13 to give you an idea of fit and comparison. This is light, somehow it's flexible with this much stack height. There is so much foam on this thing, yet somehow it is flexible, somehow it feels light. They improved the fit from last year with the lockdown, and this is just giving you a very hilly ride with a little bit of bounce. So take the Mach 4 and just amp it up a little bit. If a Mach 4 is a 10, it's an amazing shoe. This is an 11, just because you have a little bit more shoe. Weight wise, man, maybe I should weigh them. I think the Mach 4 is still a little bit lighter than this, but if you're on your feet all day, this is not as unstable as something like the Invincible. You're all wobbling all over. This doesn't have as much bounce either. This is not as bouncy as what you're getting from your Mach 4, your Invincible, or even your Triumph, but it has enough bounce, and it's so plush, and it's so light and flexible. I really enjoy this shoe. Now, this is also a $160 shoe, I believe, and if I'm wrong in the prices, I'll have all the links below in the description. That does help the channel. But Fresh Foam More version 3, number 2 most comfortable shoe you can get in 2021 for all your on your feet daily needs. And number 1, the weirdest one, and you may not even want to buy it because it is a $200 shoe. It is probably the most cushioned shoe Brooks has ever done. Again, Brooks that doesn't even have a lineup with great, more comfortable shoes. It's their Aurora BL. This crazy moon space shoe that I feel like the astronaut should have. You can see that giant segmentation from the heel to the forefoot. This upper that is completely see-through and transparent. This shoe is so light. It is using, and forgive me, I'm looking, I know it's nitrogen. I don't know what they're calling it, but it's their nitrogen foam. It is light. It is bouncy. You have no ground feel. It moves with your foot way better than you would think to have this kind of chunky cutout here. It's not segmented in the forefoot at all. But again, I almost feel like this is cheating. This is a $200 shoe that looks weird. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull this off with maybe your work uniform or just walking every day. But as far as I know, this is only sold as this colorway as of yet. This uses a booty style fit for the construction here, which is, again, everything is just weird about it, but it works. And just to give you guys an idea, I believe I just got my straight size 12, Europe 46, a UK 11. Even if you have a wide foot, it's just such a malleable fitting upper, it doesn't matter. The fit is incredible. It's bouncy. If you are looking for the most comfortable shoe you can get in 2021 and you don't care about the looks, you don't care about the price, you're on your feet all day and you just want Levi, what is the best thing that can take care of my feet, my knees, my back? You can't do any better than this. Now again, this has no plate in it. This is a very natural running neutral shoe. You can use it for anything from standing and walking to long runs. And because of the weight, I could even see this as a race day shoe. This is such an incredible shoe. I was shocked how much I liked it. We have other shoes with carbon fiber plates that are better and for the money maybe you should get. And honestly, if you wanted to save the money and get something like the Mach 4 that's $115, you still can't go wrong, to be honest. Or even getting something like the Invincible that's going to give you similar bounce, but not the stability and not as lightweight, and get that on sale. It's $180. I think I've seen it as low as $100. Stay within your budget. I don't want you guys to overspend the money if you don't need to, but just know if you were considering this, if you saw it and like, hey, why is it so much money? It's because you're getting something that is the best of the best. Guys, girls, hopefully this video helped you out. Give it a thumbs up as it really helps the channel. It helps YouTube share this video for all those around the world who are looking for the most comfortable shoe from someone who's actually tried and used all these shoes and has done runs, who's on his feet, who has put in the time and not just putting a bunch of Adidas and a bunch of Nike and hype shoes out there. Now, our part 2 is going to be all of our carbon fiber shoes. These are shoes that I won't necessarily recommend for every day because that carbon fiber, such as this guy, or even this is a treat, all are going to kind of push you forward and put additional pressure on your Achilles if you're just using it for every day. So they have a place to use them, and they are all incredible, and they're all generally way more expensive. You're almost starting at $200 except for one of them. So it's a much higher investment. I can't say it's worthwhile for everybody, but that is part 2. If you're looking forward to that, put in the comments that you're excited for and what you want to see. If I missed anything, put them in the comments below as far as what shoes I do need to try that you want to see comment below. As always, this is Levi with Sneaker Gears. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you soon.